This is a platformer, just like Mario. But in this game you don't play as Mario, you play as the Goomba. And the goal here isn't to get to the end of the level, it's to stop the Mario character from reaching the end. I mean, let's be honest, Mario's had enough time in the limelight. When was the last time the Goomba had his own game series? Oh, that's right, never. They just walk around and get curb stomped for no reason. It's not right. The Goombas deserve revenge. The Goombas deserve their own game franchise. Nintendo, you better be listening to this, because I'm gonna build that game. And at the end of this video, I'm going to send it to Nintendo to prove this is a good idea. First thing we need in a game, some characters to play with. I used Mario and the Goombas as an example, but I need to make something original so I don't piss off Nintendo's legal team, as that would be really bad for me. So let's go ahead and start with a basic head shape here, and then I have a mustache, so we'll use that for inspiration. Add some hair, and I think overalls are actually in style. So let's go ahead with some overalls, and there we have it. Oh, hold on. There. Now it's perfect. So I think we're in the clear here. I asked ChatGPT for a funny name like Jumpman, because that's a Mario's original name. And one of the suggestions that came back was Juicy Boy, which this is real, this actually happened, and it's just way too good to not use. So Juicy Boy, and he's our villain, which means we now need our player character, which is our hero. And here we go. This is Goomba. I gave him a mustache. He's a little more masculine, which means we now have the player, we got the bad guy. We can just go ahead and make the game. I like to start with just getting the player moving around. It usually just feels good to me. So I quickly coded up this player controller and boom. Wait, hold on. There we go. Just like that, our Goomba can move side to side, which means now we can make it so when Goomba collides into the side of Juicy Boy, well, the Goomba wins and kills him. But if Juicy Boy lands from the top, well, then Goomba gets curb stomped. So at this point, it's coming together. But the main problem now is we need Juicy Boy to actually move or do anything at all. I mean, he's just standing there. Dare I say, we need AI. We need AI. So I wrote the most complex AI behavior tree natural intelligence could conjure up. Juicy Boy will now run to the right, and if there's a scary obstacle in the way, he jumps. And by scary obstacle, I mean literally anything at all. The man just loves to jump. He's always jumping. I don't know. I don't understand. But with his brain in place, the player now has to try and run into Juicy Boy from the side without getting curb stomped. And while it's funny to see Juicy Boy run to the right literally forever, we need to add some sort of finish line to the level. Sure, we could add a generic flagpole or some goalpost, but I wanted to do something a little spicier. And so I fell back on one of the most basic rules of game design. When in doubt, use an explosion. I made this TNT, and when Juicy Boy touches this trigger, it explodes. But you know what's better than one explosion? 1,328 explosions. Yeah, I may have gotten a little carried away, which looks something like this. Perfect. So now we have our first level. It's pretty simple, but this just gives us a start to build more levels from, which I did. Here's a few examples. Starting with the drop down, you gotta drop down on him. The oh you thought. You see you start moving to the left and oh, he jumps. Oh, you thought you were gonna get him, but you lost. Pretty good one. I thought that was a pretty good one. As I was making these, I started to realize there's like a big power discrepancy between Juicy Boy and the Goomba, and it's because Juicy Boy can jump, which is just inherently not fair. I mean, the Goomba doesn't even have legs. So I decided to give him a leg up and build out a jump pad that will launch Goomba into the air. Take this level here. If the player walks up the side, they lose. If they do nothing, Juicy Boy jumps over them and they lose. Now throw down a jump pad and time it just right to hit him midair, and there you go. This is my finest work, genius. Absolutely genius. I also did this, which doesn't serve any gameplay purpose, but I mean, it was pretty fun. I then kind of realized when I was making these levels that all of them are pretty much just time trials. Like, it's just a race to get in front of and kill Juicy Boy before he reaches the end. So I leaned into that design a little bit more, where in this one you gotta actually bounce up fast enough to get there in time or else you lose. But then that got me thinking, how can we make the levels last a little bit longer? Because right now, every level boils down to get to this point of the map fast enough or you lose. And that's when I realized, do you know what's better than one Juicy Boy? 1,328 Juicy Boys. And do you know what's even better than that? 2, because otherwise that's way too many. And so now, if you give the player multiple enemies they have to kill, each with different move speeds and different pathings they'll take throughout the level, it introduces some more thought process into how you're actually gonna beat the level, at least a little bit. And so putting it all together, I made a level like this, where you have to get the timing right to handle all 3 different juicy boys here, and it definitely becomes a little bit more interesting to play. The real problem now is that I've actually just become way too good at my own game. Like, I can't lose, and I never see any explosions. And the explosions are honestly the most fun I had doing any of this, so quite frankly, I need more of them. And then I made this level, where you actually just shoot Juicy Boy with explosions, and that's how you win, because this is my favorite level. This was the best one. Surely this would be a strong enough demonstration to prove my point to Nintendo, so I built and zipped up the game, typed out an email that may or may not have been artificially enhanced by ChatGPT to add emotion to, and sent it off. Now I just had to wait a few weeks to hear back. But I woke up one day to a message in my inbox. They told me they hated the idea and they'd be blocking my email account from further contact, which I expected that. And while I can't say I'm surprised, I am disappointed. And I remain hopeful one day the Goombas will get a game they deserve. Till then, I'll sleep well knowing that I played a part in fighting for that noble goal.